Uh, Firstly, we need to download something like a virtualization engine like VirtualBox or VMware. Because VirtualBox is free, um, and it's very easy to use. We can use VirtualBox. So I'm going to virtualbox.org, and then we can click on this big blue button here for downloading. It depends on your operating system. I'm using Windows, so we can click on Windows host and we can download it. Additionally, if we want to do something like, for example, share folders between your host and additionally add, for example, some new NIC and virtual network. So you need something which is extension pack. So you can download the extension pack here. It depends on the version which you downloaded. So as we have both of them here, I can click to run it and simply going to install it because I installed VirtualBox before, so I'm not going to install it, but very simple. You can just say next, next, and next, and everything will start. And after you install the VirtualBox, you need to just click on this extension pack, and then you can install it. Because again, I had this extension pack before, so it just asked me to upgrade it. So I'm not going to upgrade it because my VirtualBox is a bit older, so no need to upgrade. Yeah, for example, if I need to use USB 3, for example, I definitely need this extension pack. So after we installed VirtualBox, we need to make a new virtual machine. So I can go to machine menu and click on new. So uh, it asks you where exactly you want to save this virtual machine and which kind of operating system you want to have, and you can define a name as you like. So I can change this path if you don't like the default, so I can say others, and I can use my virtual machine folder here. And I can say, for example, uh, test machine. And here I can say, for example, I want to have some Windows, which version. This part, this type and version just help you to have better default. But anyway, you can change everything, and it doesn't matter which kind of operating system or version are you going to use. But I can say, for example, I'm using Linux and Debian 64, for example. Next. How much memory, for example, I want to use 4 gigabyte of memory for that. And then it asks you about the hard disk, so you have three options. You can, by default, you can use a new hard disk right now, or you can use one of your existing hard disk which previously was creating, and you can reuse them. So if you have some VDI or another kind of virtual disk, so you can use them. Actually, VirtualBox has even converter, so you can convert. For example, if you have VMDK, which is belong to VMware, so you can convert it to VDI and use it. Or if you have VHD, which is by default virtual hard disk for Microsoft, also you can convert it. and reuse it here. So in this video, I'm not going to talk about how we can use conversion and how we can expand the hard disk or something, because we don't need it right now, maybe later. But we can create a new virtual hard disk, or if totally you don't need for this your machine any kind of hard disk, so with a hard disk you want to run your machine, so you can use this one. But specifically for this machine, I'm going to use a new virtual hard disk. Recommended is 8 GB because I was using Debian 64, so that's one of the defaults which I've told you. But if I'm going to the next step by click on the create, it asks me which kind of virtual hard disk type I want to generate. So I can use the VDI, which is for a VirtualBox disk image, or VHD virtual hard disk, which I've told you like it's for Windows mostly by default, or vimdk, which mostly VMware use it. So I'm going to use VDI. And then next, I can say I want to allocate dynamically or as a fixed size. So if I'm using dynamic allocated, it means that, imagine I'm using the default. Just let's imagine that 8 GB of VHD or VDI disk I do have. When it's dynamic, it means that I'm not using 8 GB of my real disk for this virtual hard disk. So if I copy 2 GB of data into that virtual disk, so 2 GB of my real disk will be used. But if I'm using fixed size, so since the beginning, all of 8 GB is fixed and used from my real disk, and it doesn't matter, I do have 1 byte or 1 bit even in my virtual disk, or I have all of 8 GB. So anyway, 8 GB of my real disk is busy. So I can say if you're using in production or in some more operational level, to be sure that we are not going to be ran out of disk, that would be better to use fixed size. But as I'm using just in my local computer, it would be better to use dynamic allocated. So in this way, I can save more part of my local disk in this way. So if I'm not using the virtual disk too much, so it means that I'm not using my real disk as well. So next, here we can say what is the name of this virtual disk. Actually, because I was using the VDI, so the extension is VDI right now. And how much space do I want for that? So I can say 30 GB for that would be enough for me. So, and in this pad it will be, so create, and I have here something. If I click on setting, so I can go to system tab. Here I have that my 4 GB of memory which I was using during like to create this new machine. In processor I can use more core for that, and if I need to do virtualization inside my virtual machine, so I can click on this, enable VT. So I can do virtualization inside my virtual machine. So if, for example, you want to um, test something like ESX, uh, so definitely you need this one. It means that you install ESX as a virtual machine, but ESX do virtualization for you. so it's possible. Display, at least in our cases, not important for us. Storage, we were talking about this, so that's my disk. I can add new disk even here. So if you need more than one disk, you can have here more than one disk, because here you have different ports, so you can attach different hard disks to different ports. It's exactly like a real hardware for you. And if you want to mount some ISO file or image, so you can mount from here, so it can be kind of like your CD drive or optical drive or something. Audio, again, we don't need, I think, right now. Network, for now, we have different option actually. Maybe during our course, we will talk about this part a bit more, but at least right now, I have to tell you about this, which is most useful for us, bridge adapter. So when I'm using bridge adapter, I can use any of my real network interface card to be connected and be bridged directly into my virtual machine. So if I'm using, for example, my wireless network adapter, it means that I have this virtual NIC, virtual network adapter, but this adapter is directly connected to my Wi-Fi. But the things which I have to take care is this virtual adapter is not wireless. It's kind of Ethernet for me. So a wireless adapter, they are not counted as wireless. If you need really to deal with wireless, it's better to use some external like USB and mount it as USB. So in this way you have wireless network card inside your virtual machine. But if you bridge it, so it means that you are not wireless, but everything is same. So for example, the DHCP in my local network with my router, for example, works exactly and give the IP address, the gateway, everything. So that's it. So if you need more than one network adapter, you can enable there and you can use it. Serial USB shared and others you don't need right now. Then okay. So now, for example, let me come back here again, go to storage, and here I can mount, for example, a Windows 7, or I can download a Kali Linux or a Parrot, for example. Kali.org. You can go to download, and here we have an installer version or live version. So if, for example, you download a live version of Kali Linux, you can use it as live. Or if you download the installer version, you can install it on your computer as well on your virtual machine. Or if you are using Parrot Linux, go to download. So everything here is the same for you. You can use any of version as you like. Even you can directly download the OVA file if you need it, or you can download some ISO file. Depends on the version which you need it. So Parrot has Docker version, so it's possible to install it on Docker. So a bit more flexible, I can say. Interface, I like Parrot, so that's not very important. I can here, for example, use, or we can choose it from my desk, or because I was using any of those images before, so I can just use it. I had Parrot Security 4.7, which is a bit older than current version, and I can use it. I can say it's live CD. So if I just start this machine, I have it there. I can use Control C to make it a bit bigger and hide the menu. Also, I can a bit change my screen. Actually, Control C, right Control and C, because left Control and C work as default function like copy, but right Control and C work in this way. So here I can choose that I want to install it, or I don't know, I want to use it on live mode. So I'm going to just live mode because I don't need to install this parrot at least right now. And mhm. So done. I'm here. I'm in. Uh, the keyboard. I don't know. So like yes, something like that. So I have everything's here. I have different tools here in pen testing, and I have, for example, sniffing tools like Wireshark, which we were using before. And oh, you see, as I've told you, I was bridging my network interface with my virtual interface, but that's not a wireless, that's Ethernet. So anyway, and if I use ifconfig, so as you see, I got the IP address, everything is same. So if I ping, for example, google.com, I'm not connected. So let's see, ping, for example, 8888. I'm connected. It means that my DNS doesn't work. So I can use nano slash etc, like for example, uh, resolve.conf, and here I can add name server 8888. It's because my ISP blocked that. Ping google.com. Now it does work. Yeah, something like that. So everything is fine. I can use IP address and then grep with inet, for example, so I can see my IP address here as well. Everything is same, everything is fine. So as you can see, I can even capture my Ethernet. So if I'm going to ping, for example, google.com, and if I come back here and I use ICMP filter, you can see here everything as we were talking before, and everything is here available. Also, because we are to not save that, we have something like TCP dump. So if you want, you can use TCP dump, and it's so easy because you can use -i as interface. So I can use, for example, -i as Ethernet 0, and we can play with it. Instead of using Wireshark, especially if I'm using uh, um, for scripting, this TCP dump can help me a lot. Especially I can do some filters here. As you can see, everything is like clear text. So with this clear text information, you can play and do whatever you need. So I don't need it right now. It was just Uh, additionally, why I'm using Parrot or Kali, because we have pre-installed many different tools and we are going to use some of them maybe later. For example, um, in the middle proxy, one of the interesting tools, EtherCap, one of the interesting tools, for example, or some tools as we were using like our spoof. So all of them, they are available here by default, so we don't need to install none of them. And we need to just, even we don't need to install the operating system, we need to just run it as a live operating system. That's it. So my suggestion to install at least a Windows 7 for our test, to be our like target or victim, and install something like a Parrot Linux or a Kali Linux as attacker system or test bed for testing. So if you don't want to install a Parrot or Kali, you can use them as live, but at least install some Windows operating system, especially because our environment is based on Windows, Microsoft Windows. So better to have something like Windows as a victim or target. My suggestion to install Windows 7, because many things it's easier to test on Windows 7, but you can install Windows 10 or even Windows Server there as you wish. That's it. I think the rest of the things, and tomorrow we will talk. It was just an overview about like this virtual machine. I hope it will be useful for you. Take care. Good night. Oh, or maybe not good night for you, for me now.